Being called sexist in a boys' club is one thing, but what about metal being called blasphemous? I'm going to talk to Ronnie James Dio again. We really hit it off at the Wacken Festival, so he invited me over to his house to continue our conversation. Like many metal artists, Ronnie's music is full of religious symbolism, yet his message is often at odds with these religions, especially Christianity. So I'm curious to hear what Ronnie has to say about metal's religious obsession.
You're a takeoff!
It's just the beginner. Now the closer you get to the meaning, well, the sooner you know that you're dreaming of. And it's on and on
and on. Do you know if anyone holds the patent to this?
No, I don't think anyone does. You can just go like this.
There you go then, Phil. I think it's time to do Gene Simmons. Because I understood that Gene had found out that that OJ, as in orange juice, had never been patented before, so he patented it. So now every time anyone mentions OJ, not only, I don't know about OJ Simpson, but orange juice, that he gets some money from it. Which seems so Gene-ish to me, you know. Because he's so brilliant at that. He's just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I'm interested to get your perspective on how religion has played a part in the music that you've made.
I was always afraid as a kid of the nuns, you know, the big penguins that were going to like smack you in the head with a ruler, which is what they always did anyway. Or the fact that, you know, if you do something wrong, you're going to go to hell, and, you know, you're going to suffer terribly. And I'm, whoa, I mean, give me a break here. What's going on? So that's why for me the whole world is heaven and hell. That song is about that, the fact that we, in my mind, we live in heaven, we live in hell. God and the devil are inherent in each of us, and it's our choice to make. You can take the road to good and take the road to bad.
If there wasn't Christianity, we wouldn't have metal as we know it. Religion is really crucial to it. Most of the creators in metal, at least in metal's first several eras, were raised religiously.
Many years ago when we first started, somebody gave us some crosses and said these will protect you. And we never ever went anywhere without a cross on. You know, I've never been on stage even to this day without a cross. And it's become the symbol of the band for all over. We've got crosses everywhere. I've got them all over my guitars, we've got them on stage, we've got them one place or another, there's a cross.
Heavy metal has pretty much from the dawn of the genre been associated with Satanism. And while Black Sabbath sung principally about Satan being something to be scared of, you know, some of this stuff could almost be described as a sort of Christian sentiment. The fans, however, wanted a satanic band, and eventually commercial pressures meant that Black Sabbath exploited this kind of connection between them and demonic imagery and satanic ideas.
Of course, we got a lot of flack for it from everybody else because, you know, there was things said about us being devil worshippers and God knows what else, you know. One particular thing that happened here in Europe was the church really tried to stop us from playing in this town. Whatever town it was, escapes me now. And we didn't. They actually did manage to stop us from playing. They banned the show. And the church burnt down. Nothing to do with us, but the church burnt down. But, of course, then it was to do with us. They sort of tried to turn it, and it was our fault, you know. I think when we used to use crosses on stage on fire and stuff like that, probably didn't help.
Who cannot think of Black Sabbath without at least seeing one upside-down cross? Who cannot think of Slayer without seeing a pentagram? You know, it's visually, it kind of ties you to a certain band, to a certain sound. It's cool, you know, and I don't think any of the people that use them actually want Satan to rule the world, you know. It's just something that enhances the experience for people.
The Satanism that you see is not Satanism. It's some kind of, you know, it's some kind of caricature Satanism. Real Satanism wouldn't be... If you're looking for Satanism, first of all, you don't look to rock and roll. A bunch of kids running around playing loud guitars and going like that. That's Halloween.
Daring the flesh of the weak, tender child,
When I first heard this band, Venom, I wasn't thinking Halloween. I thought they were truly satanic, and I wasn't the only one.
I remember, for me personally, Venom just scared the shit out of me when I first heard it. I actually refused to buy those records because I was scared. I mean, I literally was scared that I was doing something wrong. It was, like, so extreme. And now, of course, anyone seeing this video, looking at me as the guy that signed all these bands thinking he was scared of Venom, you know, they're going to wet their pants. But it was a different thing back then. Like, this was unheard of. That shit was really, really, truly disturbing and scary when it came out. And look how big Venom got because of it. It's a way for bands to become popular. Extremes always sell.
Although Venom and other early satanic metal bands used Satan to shock people, Slayer's lyrics directly attacked Christianity. And as a teenage boy, how could you not get excited by album titles like Hell Awaits, Haunting the Chapel, and Rain and Blood? Slayer was a leader of the thrash metal movement, which drew on influences from the new wave of British heavy metal, punk, and hardcore. Along with the world's biggest metal band, Metallica, they introduced a new level of speed and intensity to the genre, and were known for using graphic lyrics about war and religion.
I like to take pot shots at religion because I think it's the biggest brainwashing thing that is totally acceptable in America and probably most every place else in the world. I think it's a load of shit.
Tom, another well-tread path with you is your Christian background and the juxtaposition with your music.
Catholic.
What place do your personal beliefs have in Slayer?
I consider what we do art, right? And it's art can be a reflection of society. You know what I mean? And we're picking up the dark reflections. You know, and that's what we're reflecting. But evil's everywhere, man. Everybody's got it. It sits really deep in everybody. Some people can't control it as much as others. But I think it's there. Regardless of whatever fucking religion you believe in, whatever it is you feel is right, everybody knows what's wrong. Everybody knows that there's wrong things. They're just things you do not do. And the people that don't understand that or don't believe that, then they're not really connected with themselves spiritually. It doesn't matter what the fuck you believe.
How does it fit in?
How does it fit in?
To the
he doesn't hate. He doesn't. God doesn't hate. It's a great fucking title. When they wanted to make that an album title, I was like, God damn, that's fucking really good. I think it'll fucking piss a lot of people off.
Bands that want to be the biggest badasses pick the most badass subjects. It's not that these people believe in this stuff. It's just, you know, it's a cool imagery that goes along with music. And, you know, some people do believe in it, you know. I'm not going to deny that the Norwegian bands are real. I mean, they've proven they're real by their actions.
Okay, so Venom and Slayer aren't real Satanists. But many fans, including me, wonder if the Norwegian black metal bands are the real thing. So I've come to Norway, an isolated country in Northern Europe. 87% of Norway's population belongs to the Lutheran State Church. And yet, strangely, Norway's biggest cultural export is satanic black metal.
We're filming a documentary. It's a documentary on heavy metal music. Well, first of all, we told him we were doing a documentary on the history of metal, and he said, black metal.
You say like that?
Black metal. They know their metal here in Norway, let me say.
Like thrash, black metal evolved from punk and the new wave of British heavy metal, with additional theatrical elements borrowed from shock rock. Its sound is raw, yet it is also epic and atmospheric, like punk rock meets Wagner dressed as Alice Cooper. My journey takes me on an overnight train ride from the capital city Oslo to Bergen, a small town on the fjords of the country's west coast. I'm here to talk to people linked to a string of incidents involving members of the Norwegian black metal scene and some of the country's oldest churches.
Rasmussen. I'm an assistant minister of this church, Åsane Church in Bergen, Norway. I had been here for 3.5 years when suddenly, the night before Christmas Eve, I received a call from one of my colleagues, and he told me the church is on fire. And I fell into shivers right there in my bed, and I dressed to go to the scene. And coming to the church, it was all flames. The firemen were trying to do their best to contain the damage. And we were there, the staff, looking at the flames, and the smell was everywhere, acrid and pungent. And the tower was still up when we arrived, but after some time, maybe half an hour, it fell heavily to the ground. This was a great loss, not just to us personally, but really to the whole community. This church had been standing here for nearly 200 years, and I saw quite a lot of sad faces. It was not a happy Christmas at all.
I satanistmiljøet I Oslo det nå frykt for nye drap etter drapet på den 25 år gamle.
Varg Vikernes, the most notorious metal musician of all time, was implicated in a series of arsons that destroyed some of Norway's most treasured historic churches in the early 90s. He was also convicted for murdering a fellow black metal musician and is now serving a life sentence. Jorn Tunsberg helped Varg burn down the Åsane church. He served his time and was recently released from prison.
We did meet with Rolf Rasmussen, the minister of the Åsane church, and interviewed him.
Okay.
I'm very interested to hear from you, your perspective on what happened.
The most important thing that happened was that the church were burned down. So that's something I stand for, and I stood for it then, I will stand for it now, and I will stand for it like till I die.
Why is it important to you that you stand behind your actions?
Yeah, it's kind of a statement to break down Christianity.
Lately, there has been a small trend by some people to see Christianity and every other established religion as the bad guy, and Satan as the liberator, the one who can really turn you into the powerful, strong paths that you should lead.
What is the primary ideology or primary ideas that fuel Gorbarov's music?
Satan.
What does Satan embody, or what does he represent?
Freedom.
I think whether we like it or not, black metal in Norway is known for a string of events that happened in the early 1990s around a series of arsons. I'm interested to know your thoughts on the actions of those events, the motivations behind those events, whether you agree with them, whether you disagree.
church burnings and all these things are, of course, a thing that I support 100%, and it should have been done much more and will be done much more in the future. We have to remove every trace from what Christianity and the Semitic roots have to offer this world. Satanism is freedom for the individual to grow and to become the Superman. Every man who's born to be king becomes king. Every man who's born to be a slave doesn't know Satan.
It's in effect an elitist's religion. It's only for the best, for the strongest, for the most successful. It's not for the timid or the weak. And so by that virtue alone, it won't have a large following.
What can you say, words of a Christian man? So I don't care what he will ever say, you know. I know for a fact that they have lost a lot of followers, so we have been giving them a fist in the face.
How do you feel about what happened to the church?
Well, in a way, I think that Christianity in Norway deserved it, you know. It in the beginning, it was, you know, it was not something the Norwegians choose. It was forced upon them. So you can say that, you know, that's 1,000 years ago, but, you know, but I wasn't sad, but I wasn't really happy either. But I mean, in a historical point of view, Christianity deserved it, you know.
And I think society creates extreme people. It's like with, you know, a free democracy usually deserves its leaders, and it's also I would say it usually also deserves its outsiders.
If every metal band wants to be more extreme than those that came before, then burning churches certainly took things to a new level. But these actions say less about metal's theatrics than they do about Norwegian cultural sensibilities. Resentment towards Christianity in Norway stretches back 1,000 years to their Viking ancestors. In any case, the majority of metal fans, including myself, could never understand or defend these extreme actions.
I love going to Norway and Denmark because I love picking up the black metal magazines. It's so Spinal Tap because each band is trying to be more wicked and evil than the other band, you know. And it's I can't turn the page without, you know, look at this one. You know, here's these guys in there. You know, and you know these guys when you meet them in the mall. They're, hello, Mr. Cooper. How are you? Nice to meet you. My mother's right over there. Could she have your autograph? And I said, I thought you guys were like Satans or something. You know, it's like, well, yeah, we are, but you know. Very rarely do you meet anybody that's truly scary.